How do you feel when you're trying to give a very important advice to somebody which is coming right from your heart? You sort of, know intuitively, or you feel that this is something that this person must hear, but the person doesn't take the advice at all. Like you feel that this person didn't even hear you out properly. This happens, right? Or you try teaching to people in some or the other way. It might be a profession, but you always feel, that there is a lack of understanding between you and the people who are receiving it. So, in today's video, we're going to talk about a very specific topic. And the topic is, if you are in this work of imparting knowledge to people, then how can you do that in a more nuanced way? Like, in a much effective and a better way. And this is something that I have learned from my personal experience. And there are some people who might not be teachers or knowledge givers or trainers or coaches or mentors, but they can be somebody who in generally likes to give advice to people, or people come to them for advices and they sort of counsel them for different things and different reasons. So this video is applicable to all of them. So I'm going to share certain tips, and the intention behind sharing these tips is, how do you get the power in your speech? So, if there is a power in your speech, then people want to listen to you. People want to implement your learnings in their day to day life. That is the power of speech. Now, you might have heard this in Hindi कि इसकी बातों में ना बहुत वजन है या कितनी ज़बरदस्त बात बोली है. So, there are some people who say the same thing, but we don't feel like listening to them. But there are some people who say it in such a way, or sometimes there is such a power in the way they say it to you that you want to implement it. So, if you want to become a knowledge giver like that, then you must watch this video till the end. First, we need to understand the difference between a person who just gives away information and a person who actually gives knowledge to people. Information was if I was making this video out of something I read on the internet or on some book, or I learned a theory and then I'm sharing that theory with you, that would be just information. Knowledge, which is also called as gyan, or which also has the word vidya, it comes from a more profound place. A lot of times it can come from your own experience. It can come from multiple books that you have read, or the researches that you have done. Some people, they're very deep when it comes to learning things, and knowledge comes from that place. It is much more refined. So when you are just listening to information and putting it out there like a translator, you are not a knowledge giver, or you're not imparting knowledge. You're just giving information. There's nothing wrong about it, but then don't expect people to look at you like a knowledge giver. Second thing, when you are giving knowledge, if it comes from the place of your own experience, the knowledge will have different kind of passion in it. There will be a lot of power in your speech. That is why, rather than getting your speech written from somebody else, or even if we have big dignitaries like the presidents and the prime minister, they have their own speech writers, but the stories that are included in the speech, or whatever is written in the speech, it is so in sync with the story of the person who is saying it, that there's a lot more power in it. There's a lot more capacity to hold people's attention in that particular knowledge that is being delivered. This is the second important thing. Do not speak by just listening that you heard something and you just spoke it out. It won't be respected or received as knowledge, it will be received as information. Third, very important aspect, if you are a very knowledgeable person and you run giving advices to people even when they don't ask you, you will build resentment in your own system. Like, there are some people, even I had this habit a lot, and sometimes it happens to me even now, that if I look at something, I feel like giving my advice on it, giving my opinion onto it. And when it happens too much, that you are just giving advices and opinions freely to people, you are not even thinking whether they want it, did they ask for it, or are they open to receive it. You are not in a proper setup and you just gave it away like that. So it will never have the power which it can have when someone is open to it. Now, Krishna could have told all these lessons that he gave to Arjun during the Bhagavad Gita, whatever is written in the Bhagavad Gita, during the Mahabharata. If Krishna could have given, right? Arjun was his friend. Krishna would have casually told him many things, anytime. But he specifically chooses that time of being on the battlefield to give this knowledge to Krishna, because that time, sorry, to Arjun, because that time Arjun was fully open to receive it. So you need to check whether the people whom you are giving knowledge to, are they fully open to receive it. Now I'll be making this video will be going on so many people's feed, and there'll be only few people will be clicking, and there'll be only few people will be watching this video till this particular time. And the openness with which a person, is soaking up knowledge that is being delivered is very different. So different learners are going to learn different things from this particular video. So that is, the importance of openness. That is why, there's so much that I can tell and people can tell on YouTube and all these information giving platforms, and a lot of times there's knowledge as well. But what happens in a very controlled setting, like in a coaching session or in a mentoring session, is, you are getting to look at the person who is receiving knowledge. So their facial expression, their tonality, what did they understand, what did not understand, all of those things give a lot of cues to the person who is imparting that knowledge and bringing in clarity, who's serving as that light to the person, of whether or not this person has understood what this person has understood. That is why, the coaching sessions, the mentoring sessions, they are so effective because it is delivered in a certain way. So the openness, it's very important that you don't go about wasting your knowledge and your valuable advice just to anybody in the world. So even, if it is your very own family members, you might want to give them advice when they really ask you for it, or when you really, feel that there's a need, and you say it out. Okay, if you really feel the pain of the person, you want to give a solution, say it out, but do not expect that they will follow, right? So we all must know, especially people who guide others, that every person has their own unique blueprint of living this life, and they have come with it in so many ways, and they have the autonomy for their actions and the consequences of their actions. So every teacher, every guide, every mentor must understand this thing. Then you will not have the heaviness or regret of being a teacher. You will not feel resentful about, being in a profession of imparting knowledge to people. Yes, you'll feel sad that you told the person, but the person didn't happen to listen to it. What after this? After this, seeing that whatever you are teaching, you have given it some time to breathe within you. Like a lot of times, once we have learned something, we think out loud about it. Okay, and when we think out loud about it, we are sharing all kinds of ideas, with people. So we are not very careful about what exactly we are saying and what this person is going to hear, right? That is why you see that teachers who especially are very good teachers, they always prepare for their lectures, they always prepare for their training sessions, because this is the amount of time I have, this is what I have to teach, and these are the points which have to be covered. So there is some kind of systematicness to it, and it is not just vague thinking out loud, right? So it is planned and facilitated in many ways. Next thing, when you are a knowledge giver, a lot of times you are a student. In fact, you are much more a student than a knowledge giver. So that time, it's very important that when you are a learner, to share your bigger ideas, your bigger philosophies, your bigger ideologies with people who have the intellectual capacity to understand what you are saying. See, philosophy is not a subject for everyone, okay? Or psychology is not a subject for everyone, right? If you just happen to talk about philosophy and psychology in a family dinner table conversation where other people don't understand so much about it, or they're not even interested in it, then you are the fool who's talking about those topics. I mean, I have ended up doing this so many times till now, and I have realized that it's good that I take it up to the community that I am learning maybe certain kind of subject from, so I can discuss with my own intellectual community. So we have to understand that we need a circle of friends with whom we can discuss philosophies of life and all of these things, and they're not supposed to be discussed with everyone, right? And whatever is supposed to be given and discussed in a very closed setting, where, like I said, in a coaching session, in a mentoring session, all of those things, there are things which you can say and you can teach out loud to the masses, and there are things where you need to understand how the person is receiving in it. That's very, very important. There's always a prayer that I say to God. I am a person who believes in my faith and all of those things. So I really feel that whatever comes out of a person's mouth, a knowledge giver's mouth, is coming from a higher source. That's my belief. Everybody may have a different belief. So what I pray is that my voice or whatever I say must either uplift, either bring in clarity, or motivate the person in some or the other way. When I pray this thing, what I actually want is, what my intent is, that I should not instill fear into a person's mind, especially people who are coming to me as learners, as my clients, as my students. I don't, if I have certain of my personal biases, every person has personal biases. I don't want to put my limitations and my personal biases on the person. Yes, I can tell them certain areas where they need to be cautious. Like I talk about so many things about life coaching on social media, but I genuinely want that I should not instill fear in people's mind. And in some or the other way, I've also seen that somehow, if that happens, very rarely, it is also stopped. I get a sort of a awareness, or somebody will just point it out. Hey, what are you going to say? Or I'll just point it out. So first, I used to talk, talk, talk. Okay. Now that I have been doing this coaching and mentoring people, all of that, there is a different kind of pause and a consciousness when I'm speaking. My awareness has increased. So, when you are in a knowledge giving profession, it is also an opportunity to refine your own evolution, your own personality. So, if you watch this video till the end, and if you like content like this, which is very nuanced, which comes from authenticity, then you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. You get a lot of these things. Thank you so much.